Hi, I'm Phil Bumpa from APEC Virtual Selling, where we help companies sell more SaaS by leveraging modern virtual selling strategies. In this video, we're going to talk about how to evaluate partners for your SaaS business using a framework that I put together based on my experience. If this topic is of interest to you, please make sure to check out our other video where we talk about where to find partners to start working with them in the first place. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like, possibly leave a comment if you want to, so that we can continue to grow our channel. So to give a context to this video, I highly recommend working with partners, being partner positive, partner friendly, and then open-minded about partnership is a great way to grow your SaaS business. If you are like that, hopefully, eventually you find yourself in a situation where you need to evaluate different partners that you either already work with or want to work with and make decisions that are important for your business regarding partners. So in this video today, I want to give a framework around making those decisions and how to think about these partners and potential partners that has been very helpful for me. So the framework that I'm about to share works best if you take into consideration, your own feedback, your own critical thinking, but also feedback from valuable sources of feedback, either within your organization or outside. So important to keep that in mind. So the framework that I use when evaluating and thinking about partners in general that has worked very well for me is to look at investment versus rewards versus potential risk. Now, what do I mean here? Well, investment, that's probably pretty self-explanatory. That is your money and time and other resources investment. Rewards is what you get out of working with the partner, with, of course, SaaS revenue generation being the name of the game. And potential risks, that's primarily risks around competitive threats and also around your IP. But let's look at a couple of examples that I put together to make that even clearer. So let's take a look at example one, and that is a mid-market partner who works already with some of your competitors, and they would bring you SMB size customers, right? So in terms of investment, this partner probably wouldn't require a lot of investment from you, as they are already established in the market. They are already working with your competition. But I guess the flip side of that is that in terms of the rewards, you'd just be another option for them. So that pie of potential revenue, you'd have to share with whoever they're already working with. And on top of that, that would be SMB type customers. So probably not the biggest revenue for you, assuming that you can work with different types of customers. Also, in terms of risk, it's not really great, although it's relatively low, because you still need to think about the fact that they are working with some of your competitors, and being a smaller partner, typically they wouldn't have a setup where they have these kind of practices separated, where people who work with one product don't talk to people that work with the other product, etc. So again, that's an example of low investment, but relatively low rewards and relatively low risk. Second example would be working with your big four type of companies that would be, or could be rather, high investment, high rewards, and low risk. So typically those type of partners, they take a lot more efforts to build a relationship and get a formal relationship going. And with that formal relationship, there oftentimes is a lot of legal, a lot of paperwork, a lot of hoops to jump through. But typically, it's quite worth it because of the potential deal size for you, and also the stability of the relationship, right? So they can be quite difficult to start working with, but once you start working with them, the relationship typically is quite stable. Also, these type of companies typically don't have the resources to look at multiple options for every kind of functionality that they might need. So if they recognize you as a valuable partner to work with, typically there might be less competition for you to worry about. Also, in terms of risk, these companies are very professional and they typically avoid conflict of interest. They have to disclose things like that very carefully, and they tend to separate practices, etc. So definitely a good situation to be in, probably. And worth keeping in mind, sometimes you might get discouraged trying to work with companies, but again, think of the framework that it is high investment but tends to be high rewards and low risk, so definitely worth it. Third example would be the right complementary type of product, especially if they are a more mature, established product with a relatively large base of customers. So this potentially could be a low investment, medium to high rewards, and low risk type of partnership, right? So let's use the example here that you have a solution that does warehouse management software, and you tend to specialize within the warehouse, within the four walls of the warehouse. But some of your customers might need a solution that helps delivery drivers. So if you can find the right partnership there, potentially there is quite a bit for both sides. Because this type of solution is similar to what you're doing, it is relatively low investment. Again, depending on how much business they can introduce you to, or campaigns you can do together, that can be medium to high rewards. And especially if they don't work yet with anybody else in that space, that is relatively low risk. And it's not like you're exposing that much in terms of your IP or how you do business to them, to be a long-term competitive threat. So definitely also something quite positive. Fourth example is a situation that if you deploy this framework, it's a partnership that you potentially might want to avoid, or you definitely need to take steps to mitigate the potential risks. And that is a situation where you are talking to a relatively new partner. So they're not established, they don't have a brand yet, they don't really have customers yet. So it's a new partner that wants to implement your solution. So they want to know a lot about it, how it works, they want documentation, etc. And people in that company have history of product development and developing their own products and selling them on the market. So in that case, that is a high investment because they want a lot from you. They want to implement your product, they want to be enabled. High investment, relatively low rewards, especially in the short run while they're trying to get the company up and running. And high risk, right? Because you're exposing a lot, and especially exposing to people who have a history of product development. So again, you need to evaluate it, but potentially something that if you deploy this framework, might want to avoid. As I mentioned, this type of framework has been very useful to me in terms of new partnerships, and even when I had some questions about how to work with existing partners, has been very useful to me. Maybe it's because I'm a fairly structured thinker. Hopefully it's useful to you as well. Now, again, I do realize that this is a topic, working with partners, evaluating partners, that it's very hard to cover in depth in a video that's about 10 minutes long. So if this is something that you need help with, definitely get in touch with us. And as mentioned as well, make sure to check out our other video where we talk about how to find partners to start working with in your SaaS business in the first place.